What is going on with crypto? I think we're going to have a little bit of a dip. I'll explain why in this video right now. Let's get into it. So this is our M2 money supply that's overlapped with Bitcoin. We've got our resistance levels here, our short-term trend, and then our kind of multi-year resistance levels. We've got support here and support here. This is a bit of a downtrend. We blew through it, but we could come down to touch this and come off, or we could go down further, unlikely. And this all relates to the 15th. So you see on the 15th of June, we have a dip in our M2 money supply with the settings that Roll Paul from Real Vision uses, which some trust, some don't. Thus far, I kind of dig it. So with this in mind, I am expecting a little bit of uncertainty before we then jump up again on the 18th of June and then after the 18th of June. That's my thesis, and I'll tell you how I'm playing it. So 18th of June, as mentioned, this is when we start to kind of jump up. So we could have a little bit of a buying opportunity now. And even as simple as if you don't want to trade, which is fair enough, putting some USDC into Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, into a Meteor DLMM, and just buying the dip down and then just letting it go up. Very least, you're going to get some MET fees and you're going to get some MET points. So that's that one. This all relates to the fact that we've got, later on today, we've got unemployment claims, which may push down the market slightly. And then we don't have anything really until next week on Wednesday. And this is this Sunday, this time when things could potentially go down. Now, this is from Ben Cohen, and I don't truly like it, but I think we can use this in combination with something else. And what he has here is he's got this setting where he's got the marks the top of the previous cycle, and then he has a 200-day moving average. And when it crosses over, it marks the top of the next cycle. So we can see it here, top, here, top. This one, however, this was inaccurate. It was 98 days off. So it's not like a perfect thing. But we will keep a track on this because we want to see so many things. And we'll also use this as it relates to this, which is probably the most important thing. That is the market cap USDT dominance. We've rejected off this. This is why things have got weaker in terms of price. More people have been stabling up. And 18th of June, I'm expecting it to come down and hopefully we start to go through. We're not going to see any kind of fun euphoria until we get down to this resistance level down here. This is a backwards chart, right? This is resistance, support would be up here. So we need to come all the way down here for us to start to get this fun time that we saw in the beginning of 2025 with just max euphoria and previously with Trump and the election stuff. Fair and Greed's at 71, so it's slightly dropped from 72, 71, 72, 71. But I think it's going to drop down a little bit over the next couple of days and then pick up. Having a quick look at the daily exchange volume, you can have a look and see that this is not completely like live, like it's 2 days behind, unfortunately. But this was high-low, and we're starting to move up. So with that in mind, this is still what I'm expecting to happen. We've got all this, and then we go and launch. So if we come along like this a little bit longer, may only be a couple of weeks. It may be that short, and then we can bounce up. We don't have all the data. We're making guesses based on what we can see. Pretty much we're 50-50, or we're 50-50. Now it looks like the shorters are winning. The shorters are winning, so more longs have been pushed, have been liquidated, which was the expectation with us coming close to the 15th. And this here, this is with Sol. It's fairly equal, and it was, but I actually think we get pushed down a little bit just because of the short pressure and whatnot. And we can have a look on other places as well, like Bybit, see what it looks like there. Yeah, there's more people that are longing it, so I think we go down a little bit. You can still remember, Meteor in your DLMM tech is really worthwhile. You can still come into a range like this, and like we'll probably sit in this range for a little while. I'm hoping we don't go down too far. Bitcoin on Binance, like far easier to go and liquidate these people than it is here. Yeah, you can move up briefly, but more likely you're going to come down here and take all that. And then finally, Bybit, same deal. You can just see that I think the longs are going to be liquidated. The shorters will win. So overall, so this is Katoshi's method, which we've covered before. And I swear, if you started doing this religiously from the time this video was put out 6 months ago, you would probably be up hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's worked so well. It has like 90% success rate. And this is on the 2-hour chart, and you can see that we're still green, but we've been falling down because what you want to do is you want to enter the trades early on, and then, enter early on. Maybe you want to wait for a second confirmation candle, check a few other things. This went up 5% for Bitcoin's massive, to be honest. But even And we're not going to go through how this is used because I've talked about it before. But what I want to point out is you start off like this, you start to see these big fat candles or this big fat wave, and then it starts to taper off. And this tapering off, to me, indicates it's going to go red soon, even though we're already basically red now. So I'm expecting to see some red very, very shortly. However, if we have a look at this, this is Hyperliquid and still the fastest horse on the racetrack. And you can go on spot buy now. That's fine. We still have we have a video actually coming out today, which is how high can hype go. And so if you're buying spot and just sticking spot and you're fine with that, that's cool. If you're trying to kind of scalp or buy some spot or whatever and take a little bit of profit and buy back lower, which works sometimes, it doesn't always work. Sometimes you just want to actually make sure you just have a spot bag. Then this could be a good buy opportunity at 0.382. And then even down here at like $39. You could set bid orders on Hyperliquid, check out the video on that for all these levels if you want. You can also buy some here, but just keeping in mind that a little bit of strength will be leaving the markets is what our expectation is. Solana, on the other hand, it doesn't have that same, tight range. But if you want to put in some bids, you can see that you can put in some bids at these different levels. With the lowest one really being 114, which I don't expect us to reach. I'm really hoping it's a very small dip around the 15th and then up we go. Filecoin, same thing. Like, it hasn't managed to break. Like, I do think it's going to go past its all-time high, but for those people that want to try and accumulate more and have some sort of idea of where it could go, you can just set some USDC orders. You can do this on Hyperliquid as well because it actually works really, really well at this level, and then this level. You can also buy a little bit of spot bag here. And alternatively, if you just want to stick on Solana, which I love, DYOR, just bid ask all the way down here. And if it feels fantastic, you can then move it out and put it into an ask system and let it just pump higher. That's what my expectation is. So the US Treasury has gone and bought $10 billion of its own debt. This is the largest Treasury buyback in history. And that was from last week. And this means that there's the buying back debt, which means the institutions that hold the debt, typically, they're going to go into more riskier assets, is the analysis that we have. It's a good thing to buy back this debt for our bags. Bank of America CEO says the bank is developing its own crypto stablecoin, which is really cool because like stablecoins just matter for the majority of the world. They're probably the biggest use case of crypto, even though for us, we want to trade, we want to buy something low and sell it high. This is what gets people interested. And maybe this is what the retail adoption is this cycle. They jump in, they start to just be able to do this easily. And then there's like easy yield options. And then some of them start to go down the rabbit hole because clearly it's been fun with meme coins, which we'll cover at the end, but it's been very extractive, extremely extractive. Also, the US Senate votes to move forward with the stablecoin bill, the Genesis Act, which is a strong very strong. Inflation means that the Fed's cutting rates next week are down to 0%. This was always known, but just to keep in mind. And the Solana ETFs is what we're really kind of hoping will start to elevate Solana again. Solana, I am effectively, to you, you're probably going to think I'm a Solana maxi, and most of my bags are there. Validator.com only has a Solana validator at this stage, but we do need ETFs to make us push higher. And we do need some more fun things because the Memecoin Casino is really, really hard. So this could mean we have ETFs really soon. If you like golf or if you just like rewards and you want to check it out, this is available in the Apple App Store, Golfin. These guys have been shipping really, really well. And I'm excited for this. They have NFTs as well. I did a video on it quite some time ago, but I dig it. I want to play golf in the future. It's one of those kind of semi-retirement goals when I'm working half as much. I mentioned this last week, I think. You staked Kaito. The airdrop is now here. Go into Infinex, connect away, and go and claim this, which is cool. And this is from Roll Paul, which is the person that we're basically trusting the most, even though we're looking at everyone's data. Roll Paul is what we think. I think he's the man that's going to take us to the banana zone, and we're going to have fun in the banana zone by being patient and be ready for it. So what they're doing is they're creating Real Vision platform in August, and it's going to be all Web3 built on Sui. I believe it's going to have issues and all sorts of things like that, but I think this is a step in the right direction and pretty damn cool. They're not Sui maximalists or even Sui biased, just they're giving it a go, and I think this is really cool. So just something to look out for because maybe it adds another product market fit aspect to Sui. DeFi Dungeons, the Forge, will open Tuesday, June 17. So we'll start to cover it again from June 17. And this is probably one of the most important things I want to speak to you about today. I did a tweet on this because I haven't been tweeting much. My engagement is low because I've been on YouTube too much. My engagement is low. So I need to work on this because this is your alpha. Okay. Your alpha is CLOBs. That is a narrative. That is a narrative. A CLOB is a centralized limit order book. It's a Binance, a Bybit. Hyperliquid is a CLOB. And you want to extract away the value from Binance and Bybit because they do not share the value with you. Hyperliquid has and probably will continue to do so. And competitors see this and they see how well the token's done, and that's what they're after. Hyperliquid is printing a massive amount of fees. The issue is, like, there's bag bias, of course. So on Solana, there is no CLOB that exists that can rival Hyperliquid, Binance, or Binance Bybit in any state. Like, you can use dupe perps, which I have used, and I don't really use now, but you can use it. But it is not seamless. It is not hard. It's not easy. Drift is like buggy as well. At times, it's just not fast enough. You need something super, super fast, which is why I've talked about Hyperliquid, Bullet, and Fogo Chain. This is what Robert is one of the co-founders of Fogo Chain says. Now, he's kind of, I think his role is a little bit more like Mertz, just, shit posts, but like with some like valuable stuff. It's more, that's how I think the attention will come to him. That is what I think it is. I haven't actually met him yet. I hope to meet him soon. So in other words, if this offends you or if his style of writing offends you, like, it's far more like to the point and it's valuable. It's really valuable insight. So L1s and L2s purpose built and optimized for CLOB trading, just general trading, right? I group them together as front end UX should be the same for traders. And then L1s, this is the other vital blockchain technology. L1s purpose-built, trusted to support the above optimized trading L2s, such as Ethereum. Not going to be room for any chains that are just mediocre at both of the above and sending a confused message to the market on the identity. Pick your poison. So what that basically means is something like Polygon, which did well in the previous cycle. Unless someone goes and builds a CLOB on it where you really need Polygon, it's not going to work. Arbitrum is getting a whole lot of attention because of Hyperliquid. And so it kind of can have that support, the support markets there from Aave and Curve and all these sort of things, which even may be deployed on the Hyper EVM, but it's safer on Arbitrum right now to support this. So what I think is going to happen is you've got Bullet coming up, which we spoke about yesterday. You've got Fogo Chain, and Solana will be the base for them. And on Solana, you'll be able to do a whole lot of other things, some games, some DePINs, some like Meteor stuff, some DeFi strategies, all that kind of jazz. But if you actually want to attract the big money from Binance and Bybit, it's going to need a performant kind of L2 or another layer 1 such as Fogo Chain, which is an SVM, layer 1, and L2 such as Bullet, which is still in testnet. That is what I think is like where you want to put your bets, to be perfectly honest. And I'm going to keep on covering it. I'm going to tell you some people you can follow for now. And I'm going to read the comments, and if this is what you want me to cover, I will cover this in more detail. I actually think this is far more vital. This still also playing with Meteor and Hawkeye and that sort of jam, staying away from the trenches, which we'll touch on in a second. So DeFi Monk from Masari, love Masari, talks about this. He's got some videos here. I'm just going to tell you to go and follow him and read some of his stuff. Now, Tristan as well, who I've never spoken to before, but this is the man behind Bullet, which was Zeta Markets. This is very, very pertinent because they launched on Solana with Zeta. They did their token launch. The token didn't do well. It's starting to do a lot better now. It's doing really, really well. And Bullet looks really, really cool. I imagine, like, it's quite hard. Drift is getting a lot of attention. Jupiter Perps is getting a lot of attention. I actually imagine that Drift is probably going to go and create their own chain, to be perfectly honest. As much as like Solana's helped them, the block time on Solana is just not fast enough. There's so much love for Solana. I love Solana. I have so much Solana. Well, I don't have so much, but I have more than any other token. But like the experience on a centralized CLOB like Binance or Bybit is so much better. And then to move that NASDAQ goal, we actually need tinier blockchains. And I could talk about this at length. I'm certain I'm right here. So this is where the narrative is going to go. Hyperliquid competitors. You've been told now. You can do your own research, of course, but that's where the party's at. Now, let's have a quick look at the wonderful state of the trenches, which I quickly covered something on the trenches today. Absolutely got destroyed, and like it was nutty. The trenches are super extractive, and this was like the biggest, most amazing thing that was happening on Solana. is like the meme coin creation and whatnot. Pump.fun, people still like super bullish on. It's been so extractive. People come along with Bonkfun, Pumpkin.fun, and other versions where they've tried to create value for the creators. And it just hasn't worked. And because I think it's just a major manipulation system. This is a good example. Aura is a dead coin, 377 days. Clearly some people have been accumulating it. And then in one day, it's pumped from whatever, like nothing, $1 million market cap, to 169, now it's coming down. It's just a state of the trenches. This is all it is. Aura coin Solana, nothing exciting about it as far as I'm aware. But just in general, with new tokens, you just get slammed. You're getting like, we're not going to have this kind of fun until we get euphoric again, and then there are better solutions so we can see who's max extracting. And I'm trying. I'm just going to try and not post about it because I'm getting, some things not doing so well. Like something like this, you could probably have a look at Gcoin and you can say to yourself, okay, well, let's put in a fib on it from its low to its high, and let's see, where we should be going. But what we're not going to see is, so it's broken, and it's found support down here. You can see like phishing here, the number of people, the number of wallets that are in this just trying to destroy you. It is exceptionally high. And I just want you to be very, very careful out there. If you are going to be playing with Meteor, which I still am, like you probably want to stick to your solid basics right now. They're not going to get a whole lot of run up, but as Sol starts to peak up again, someone's going to find a solution. Could be Let's Bonk.fun, could be Meteor or partnering with somebody else. But like otherwise, I think you're going against max extractive teams and they will destroy you. That's all my thoughts for today. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know your comments below. Catch you next one.